Fiasco Sports NBA season previews. I know this is James Hetherington, the team you have been waiting for.
All week I've been waiting to do this. This is my boys, the Lakers. Kobe, purple and gold, love it.
That's it. By the way, I'm Matt Sampson. If you haven't already watched every other video, which I don't know why you wouldn't have. Got to say thanks to Sporties at the Arkabar. This couch is beautiful. This has been the studio for the last couple of weeks. Check out the link to their Facebook in the description and check them out if you're in Adelaide. The Lakers though, James, I know I've got you here for a reason. You love the Lakers.
I love the Lakers. Yeah, obviously it wasn't our season last year, and honestly, disregard the shirt I'm wearing because I love my Pacers as well. But the Lakers are definitely my team. Last season, it was exactly what everyone thought would happen, including every single player, every single fan. Mitch Kupchak, everyone thought it was going to happen, and it did happen. They signed a bunch of average players to a one-year contract to get it through, wait for Kobe to get healthy. It all unfolded exactly as expected. They got a decent draft pick. Randall was on board now. But the season, you know, it was bad. The Lakers were bad. The team was bad. There's nothing more to say about it than that.
That's it. And I still think that they are still bad. I have them ranked, what is it? We've got them 23rd.
23rd.
Overall in the league, which, you know, is slightly better than last season. Give them credit. I've added the Kobe fact to that. Never can out a champ. But last year, 25th in the league. 11th best offense, which, you know, they got up and down the floor, they shot a lot of shots, they had lots of firepower at times, but 29th in the league in defense, second to last. That's not going to win you a lot of games.
The defense was useless. As you said, the offense was great. Some of the shooting they did was just incredible. Swaggy P, got my out for you. But then running back up the other end of the court, it was horrible to watch. And I think Mike D'Antoni, he has such a focus on his offense, and obviously he would have all those years at Phoenix with Steve Nash, but defense is crucial. Look at the Pacers. They had a pretty average offensive record and a phenomenal defensive record, and they finished top of the Eastern Conference. So take note, defense has to be crucial.
That's it. You can afford to slack on offense when you have a really great defense, but you can't afford to slack on defense when you have a mediocre offense at best. I mean, look at the Bulls. They were dead last in points, first in defense, and they made the playoffs even without Derrick Rose. So this Lakers team's a bit backwards at the moment, isn't it?
I'm just praying Byron Scott takes note. I think he would have. Please, please, please focus on that defense, tighten up the screws, and the season will be 100 times better.
Yeah, I mean, we look at their strength from last season, though, which I've got this a bit tongue-in-cheek just because, you know, I have an affinity for players that like to shoot the ball. Nick Swaggy P. Young, he kept things interesting in LA, didn't he? Because
he did. You know, he's an entertaining dude.
It was a rough year to watch for Lakers fans. You know, Kobe went down, Nash was in and out for most of the year, and then ultimately out indefinitely. It was hard to watch Chris Kaman running around in a Lakers uniform.
Chris Kaman.
You know, Swaggy P kept it interesting, didn't he?
He did, exactly, and not just with his scoring, but honestly, a lot of the stuff he did off court. One quote, Matt and I actually mentioned it a bit before. He's got a sleeve, or not necessarily a sleeve, but he's got a decent amount of tattoos on his left arm. But his right arm, he's left that exclusively, as he says, for buckets. No tattoos there, that's for buckets.
That's purely why I'm not in the NBA, because I have tattoos on my right arm. I ruined my career.
Honestly, that is typical Nick Swaggy P. Young. It's entertaining, it's funny. He's just a fun, lovable guy. And
yeah, exactly.
I'm so happy he signed on for I think it's 3 years or 4 years. It's definitely
not enough years. That's the main thing.
He needs to get a life contract.
I think it is important though. In all seriousness, if you're a bad team, it's so easy to get bogged down in, you know, just how horrible the team is and how sad everything's looking. I mean, I lived through the Marcin Gortat years in Phoenix with Michael Beasley running up and down the court, which was just infuriating. And to have someone like Swaggy P to bring a bit of comedy to the court, but at the same time, you know, being a really good player, that was a strength. You know, if you're not going to win games, you can at least win over the casual fans.
Exactly.
But their weakness we've touched on, we'll talk about it in a sec as well. Injuries to stars. Obviously, Kobe Bryant doesn't come much bigger than that. Only played a handful of games. Steve Nash only played a handful of games. Guys like Kaman missed a lot of games, who, you know, we ragged on him a bit before, but he was key. Injuries just destroyed this team, didn't they?
Absolutely, and I mean no disrespect to Steve Nash, but in my eyes, he's never really been a Laker. In my eyes, he's still a Sun, and for that reason, just forget about him, put him out of your mind. The injury we need to focus on, obviously, is Kobe Bryant and that Achilles and that knee. He's our golden boy. He is the personification of the Los Angeles Lakers. And when he went down after coming back from his Achilles, the Lakers went down. Forget about him. That was heartbreaking. He's the man. He's the Black Mamba.
That's it. I mean, I don't want to steal your thunder a bit coming up, but it might come as no surprise that Kobe Bean Bryant features quite heavily in another section of this episode. So we'll touch on him in a sec. But looking at what they've done in the off season, the Lakers, obviously the biggest addition. You know, we've just touched on the name Kobe Bryant coming back from that knee injury, that Achilles injury. The ins don't get much better than a former MVP, 5-time champion. What else can you ask for?
Kobe Bryant coming back it's going to elevate the Lakers substantially. He is incredible. I still think he's got it in him. I know he's old now. I know he's 36. But as you said, he's an MVP. He's a 5-time champion. His drive to win is, I think, unequivocal in the NBA. Having him back is just going to do wonders for the side.
That's it. And another guy coming back is Steve Nash, who I've listed as his affliction from the last season was being old, which is a little tongue-in-cheek, but I think pretty apt. You know, he has been plagued with injuries since coming across from Phoenix. Phoenix has such a fantastic training staff. I'm sure the Lakers do as well. They're obviously a fantastic organisation, but the injuries have obviously just derailed his career. And like you said, he's hardly been a Laker, has he?
No, forget about Steve Nash this season. I know it sounds bad, but he's 40 now, isn't he?
He's getting up there. He's almost 40.
He's flirting with 40. You know, forget about him. He's going to have the exact same season, in and out. Just, I know it sounds rude because he's had such a great career, a couple of MVPs, but don't even consider him on the squad. He's not gonna add a lot.
Well, he's even come out and admitted that the main incentive for him to come back was the final year of his contract. He wants the money. Obviously, it's not the only incentive. He's a basketball player. He's a professional. He wants to play. He wants to play a full season. But, you know, the money is the main reason. You have to wonder that if he wasn't under contract, whether he'd be playing at all, which pains me so much to say as someone who's adored Steve Nash for so long. The guy that will be playing the bulk of the point guard minutes, though, Jeremy Lin. Are you excited for the Los Angeles Linsanity?
I don't think there'll be a Los Angeles Linsanity, but I'm excited.
Harsh
I think it's good Jeremy Lin's come on. I think he is an okay basketballer. He's pretty good. He's not incredible. Linsanity was a spell. I don't think it's going to come back. But I think it's a good addition. It's not a great addition, but it's a good addition. He's someone you want on your team. He can perform.
Yeah, speaking of good but not great additions, Carlos Boozer as well, the much maligned former Chicago Bull. I think he's going to have a good year in LA because he doesn't play a lot of defense, which is why Bulls fans didn't like him. But Los Angeles as a whole, I think, is not going to play a whole lot of defense. And he likes to shoot the ball. Los Angeles likes to shoot the ball. If Kobe will give it to him, of course. But Boozer, I think, he'll be good. He'll be someone who can teach Randall a little bit as well. Came in number 7 pick, Julius Randle. We know he's a stud. He's going to be a great player. To have someone who's been there and done that in Boozer to sort of show him the ropes would be good as well.
I think it'll be a very similar situation with Jeremy Lin in terms of what they bring. You know, they're going to bring some quality. They're not going to change the team and win a playoff game or even make the playoffs, I don't think. But he'll bring something, and I think it's going to help.
Yeah, and young Ed Davis is interesting as well. On a really good contract. I think it's only about $1 million a year. He's a high pick that hasn't developed into what his potential is yet due to the situations he's been in. So if LA can get anything out of him, that'd be a big bonus.
Exactly. They got him on a dime. As you said, it's a bonus if he performs. If he doesn't, it's relatively small change. You know, wipe him, start again. If he performs, great. They look like geniuses.
Yeah, and likewise though, with all the big ins, there is some big outs. Pau Gasol's gone. Kent Bazemore, one of my favourite players, the king of the bench celebration, he's out of the team. Chris Kaman, Jody Meeks, Kendall Marshall, Jordan Farmer is a sneaky big loss, I think, as well. Who are you most sad to see leave?
Without a doubt, Pau Gasol. You know, he's been Kobe's boy now for so long. I think Kobe would have taken it pretty hard, but I can't blame Pau Gasol for leaving whatsoever. He's put up with a lot in Los Angeles.
The whipping boy, for sure.
Exactly. He gets a lot of flack when they're not performing. You know, they're constantly thinking about trading him. He's got to read that in the paper. It's really hard on your self-esteem to read every day Lakers trying to rid themselves of useless Gasol. That's shocking to see. I think he'll do well in Chicago. Still think he's a quality player.
Yep.
the fact that he's gone now, it's a big, big loss for the Lakers.
Yeah, and we've seen how he's been playing for Spain in the World Cup as well. He's still got it. He's still a good player. He had a sneaky good year last year as well. So I think he's back enjoying his basketball. Chicago's going to be better for it. Lakers fans might feel a little dirty for ragging on him so much, but you know, it was time to move on. He's not what the Lakers need right now. We're in a bit of flux in LA. So
I don't think any Lakers fan blames him whatsoever. Before we move on from that, I just want to talk about, I'm going to say Kendall Marshall is a big loss, because I watched him a lot last season after he joined up. And the assists he pulled every game, I know, like no one else for the Lakers was getting assists, but I was expecting maybe at least 8 or 9 per game from him, and he was distributing the ball quite well. And as you said, Jordan Farmer, I think, is a sneaky big loss. But the others, Chris Kaman, Kent Bazemore, I'm not the biggest fan of, sorry, Matt. And Jody Meeks has left. The season is a win.
So much hate for Jody Meeks coming out of these videos. Oh, I feel sorry for Jody.
I feel like I've brought him up in every one as well.
You have brought him up in every one.
I've gone out of my way. This one's an obvious one, but others I've gone out of my way.
Yeah, Sacramento Kings. I hate Jody Meeks. He could have warned me about this. I'm going to have to bleep all these out.
I'm not sorry at all either, Jody, because I'm guessing you'll be watching this. I don't care. I don't like you as a player.
Number one hater, James Hetherington.
Right here.
James Hetherington.
You're lucky James Harden hasn't come up in these conversations yet, because he's up there with Jody Meeks. But let's not touch on that.
Yeah, let's move on quickly, really quickly, to the bulk of the minutes that will be played here. The crunch time 5. Obviously, you got Nick Young and Jordan Hill are really the only players that played a lot last season. I like Jordan Hill a lot. I wanted him to come to Phoenix in the off-season. He is a guy that can get you double-doubles, who'll do the dirty work. He can have the rare point explosion. Yeah, he's undersized, but he's got grit and great hair.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't mind Jordan Hill. I think he did okay coming off the bench. I'm not sure. I would have given him a few more starts if I was Mike D'Antoni, especially over Chris Kaman, of all people. I don't know, if he's starting Jordan Hill, I think he can do okay. I think okay almost sums up the Lakers right now.
Yeah.
They're okay. They're not good, they're not horrible, they're okay, simply put.
Yeah. I think Carlos Boozer and Jeremy Lin will be really interesting to track how they perform as well. Obviously, both have a lot of upside, but also much maligned for some of their down performances. I know the Lin sanity set the bar ridiculously high for Jeremy Lin, which was unfair, because we've come to find now what he is as a basketball player, which is a perfectly serviceable and respectable point guard. But that outburst in New York will sort of overshadow everything else he does. I think he's going to be good for this team. He likes to get up and down the court, and he's going to defer to Kobe when it's Kobe time.
I think the whole team would be getting it drilled into them. Get the ball to Kobe when you need to. He's the man. Let's not forget. I know he's old, but this is his team. Every single player would have it drilled into them. If Kobe wants the ball, give it to Kobe. He's on the big contract. He's the favourite son. He's wearing the number 24. He's won the rings. You're on the Lakers. You work for Kobe Bryant. It's as simple as that.
Well, that's it. Let's get into Kobe Bryant now, shall we? You know, we touched on it before. It's no surprise that Kobe is going to be the key to this team. You know, he had a fractured knee last season. He only played 6 games, which, can you believe it? After being such a durable player, known for playing through so many injuries, he got wiped out by that knee. He's 36 years old. He signed that crazy contract extension, in my eyes, $48.5 million for 2 years, which is, we know why they gave it to him. He's worth way more than that to the franchise, and they're not going to be great for a couple of years, so why not give him his payday now? Once they're hopefully on the up in his twilight, they can cut it down, bring in some other guys. But you know, look at the stats on the screen. Everything's down. He was trying to come back from an injury. He got wiped out before he could get it together. Do you think he can put in a vintage season this year?
I think he can. I do. I think he started hashtagging Vino a lot in reference to a fine wine that just gets older with age. I think he's going to change his game somewhat. He's not going to be, you know, he's done that in the past. He's not putting in those massive dunks he did when he was, you know, 21, 22, that age. But the thing with his fractured knee, I think, is a bit of a blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
It convinced him to not play the rest of the season, which was a waste of time anyway. The Lakers weren't going anywhere, and it gave that Achilles a lot more time to heal properly. A fractured knee comes back, it's just a broken bone. The Achilles tendon though, that's a lot more fragile, the ligaments in there. Now it's had almost a full year to really recover. Yeah, as I said, blessing in disguise. He's going to come back, and one thing about Kobe Bryant, he loves proving people wrong and having a point to prove. he's going to come out, people are going to say Kobe's old, he's injured, he doesn't have any more. The Black Mamba's going to explode and say, this is still my game, I'm going to destroy it this year.
I mentioned those stats that were up on the screen and how they were down last season. You need to pay 0% attention to that when evaluating Kobe this season. This year is an entirely new year. Hopefully a fully healthy body. He hasn't played basketball in nearly 12 months. He's not doing international duty. He's not doing Lakers duty. They're going to ease him into training camp most likely. Kobe's going to be back this year. He's going to have just the green light to shoot away, try and lead this team. And like you said, he is probably the second most determined player since Michael Jordan. That mental toughness that Kobe knows what he can do. Kobe wants to win. Kobe tries to win. That's why people love him. That's why people hate him. I think we're going to see Kobe, he's going to be hitting more than 20 points a game. He's going to have a couple explosions and a couple vintage games. He's not going to be MVP Kobe. That's pretty much certain. I think that's a fair statement. He's still 36. You can't expect him to harp back to the days when he was carrying Smush Parker into the playoffs. But the question I want to ask you is, where do you cap Kobe's top points per game, his highest points production this year in terms of points per game and individual scoring outburst?
Is this on average or on one individual game?
Both.
I'm going to say one individual game, I reckon there'll be one or two there that he'll explode and I reckon he'll break 40. I reckon average will be floating around, I'm going to go high teens, low 20s. And it sounds like a lot for a 36-year-old, but just remember it's Kobe Bryant, and besides Nick Young, I can't see a lot of people on the team putting up as big numbers. Kobe loves to shoot. We know he loves to shoot. He's going to get the ball. He's going to shoot a lot. And I think, anywhere high teens, low 20s. He's not going to break 50. Like you said, I think that ship sailed a bit. 40s, I reckon he could do.
I'm seeing a 50-point game from Kobe.
You are?
And it would not surprise me if we get multiple games. This is the year for Kobe to go for the scoring record. All-time scoring record. My theory is he's got Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in his sights. This year is a wash. The Lakers are not going to make the playoffs. They're probably not going to make the playoffs next year either. They're building for the future. Hopefully get one last run at that 6th ring. For now, Kobe loves accolades. Kobe loves titles. Kobe loves All-Star games. Kobe loves proving that Kobe Bryant is the best player in the world to ever play the game. One thing he needs to try and prove people that is if he can knock off that all-time scoring list, hit that number 1, he's going to be gunning for it this year, I think, and I can see multiple 50-point games. I would back him in for 22 to 25 points a game. If he can stay healthy, obviously this is in a vacuum. I'm looking at his talents that he's got, what he can do. I reckon I'm going to see multiple 50-point games from Kobe this year.
I just like the sound of that. I love him. I hope he does.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be pretty. I think there's going to be a couple games when he tries to go for 50 and he ends up with 17.
17 off 40 shooting.
Yeah, but I think Kobe is going to gun away this season because he's going to try and drag this team into the playoffs no matter what anyone tells him. And I think the only way he knows how to do that with this roster is to do it himself.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, but we're getting into Believe the Hypothetical. Guys that Believe the Hype podcast, Tom and Benyam, check out the info on the screen, give them a follow, give the podcast a listen. It's really worth your time, great stuff. Their question for you though, James, in particular, as a Lakers fan, now that they're playing on the same team, do you think Kobe Bryant knows who Jeremy Lin is yet?
I think the second Jeremy Lin walked in, he probably said to himself, Kobe, that guy's from New York, isn't he? I don't think he would have even noticed he played a few years in Houston. Lin's sanity would have taken the eye of everyone in the NBA. I mean everyone. Kobe would have been like, oh, that's not bad, sitting at home on his couch kind of thing. But yeah, for me, he would have zoned out. Now that he's in Kobe's workshop, he's going to learn the name pretty well, but he's probably just still wondering where Meta World Peace is. But yeah, with Kobe, it's a lot like, if you're not a Laker and you're not working for me, you're not my problem. He's very driven. He wants to focus on himself, on his own team. He's not going to be checking the stats of I'm going to say above average player on a regular basis. He might check, how LeBron's doing, how Kevin Durant's doing, but for me, he wouldn't have noticed too much about Jeremy Lin other than Lin's sanity.
I think, it's a lot of he pretends he doesn't know who players are. Kobe knows who Jeremy Lin was. Of course he does. That explosion he had in New York, how could you not know? It
Everyone
was
would have
such a
seen
massive
that, yeah.
thing. But I think the real question is whether Kobe Bryant is going to acknowledge Jeremy Lin or not. And I think he's going to acknowledge him every time he turns the ball over with a scowl and a couple of choice words in a timeout huddle.
Yep.
I think it could go the other way as well. We could see a little bit of a bromance here. You know, had that bromance with Pau Gasol.
Someone does need to replace Pau Gasol now as his bro.
He'd got on Pau's back many a times and slammed him to the media and said he needs to harden up, says he needs to do things. But at the same time, remember when Dwight Howard left, he posted that photo on Instagram of brotherhood or whatever it is he said. He stood by him. I think Jeremy Lin, he could prove himself to Kobe maybe, but you know, at the same time, I can see them walking into training camp and he thinks he's the team doctor or something. So like, oh, can you come and take my ankle for me?
I could see Kobe doing that as a joke. I think there's a bit of humour underneath all this competitiveness. But yeah, for me, as long as Jeremy Lin realises he works for Kobe now in Los Angeles, they won't have a problem at all.
This is not Jeremy Lin's team.
No. This is anyone coming to LA, remember the keynote, you work for Kobe now.
Yeah, I think we could see some fun going on between Kobe and Jeremy Lin. I mean, they're both exciting players. Jeremy Lin is all offense. You know, he doesn't play a lot of defense, and he's a capable scorer. And I think, yeah, we could see some playful things going on there. He's probably not going to get the Smush Parker treatment. I hope for his sake. I don't think anyone deserves the Smush Parker treatment. That is
maybe Smush Parker.
Oh yeah, maybe. But you know, that was harsh. I think
it was pretty harsh.
This Lakers team is just going to be fascinating to see what happens with them.
I think people need to remember too. Kobe Bryant gets a lot of, comparisons to Michael Jordan, as he should. They play the exact same style. But a Phil Jackson quote, I think a lot of people have heard this one, that Phil Jackson said when Michael got off the court, he was still, he'd want to race you to the car, he'd want to beat you in table tennis, all that. But the second Kobe steps off the course, he's done. The court, sorry, not the course. The second he steps off the court, he's done. He wants to go home, he wants to relax, he wants to have a life. And I think players definitely would get a lot of that. And that's never portrayed on camera. But on that court, there's hyper competitiveness from Kobe Bryant. He's yelling at players, he wants the best out of everyone. Just remember, I think he's friends with a lot of people off camera as well.
It's a bit of a charade, I think, the Kobe Bryant is a prick thing. I think obviously he is competitive, he's super competitive, he rails guys when they do things wrong on the court and stuff, but it's played up a bit in the media. I think we've seen in the last couple of years that Kobe's sort of started to open up. His career is starting to wind down. He doesn't have to be super competitive, focused, gunning for MVPs and titles all the time now. He's on Twitter now, he's on Instagram now, he's becoming a bit more open.
Having a bit of fun.
Yeah, that's it. He's enjoying these final years, and why not enjoy it with Jeremy Lin and Carlos Boozer?
Exactly.
But we got to wrap it up. They're trying to open up the bar here, and we got to get out of the way. 30 seconds on the clock. Los Angeles Lakers, what's your prediction?
This season, playoffs is out of the door. Don't even think about it. They're going to improve. I think absolutely going to improve. Last year was a horror show, especially for the Lakers. They're going to be, I reckon maybe 10th or 11th. I'm going to stick them around there. Maybe 9th, pushing.
Yep.
Best case scenario is an 8th seed in a very, very strong Western Conference. They're going out first round against the San Antonio Spurs if it does happen. It's more of a case of the Lakers are not right now. The team looks better. Kobe's back, and he's going to be driving them non-stop. But I don't think even the Mamba can get them to playoffs this year. Yeah,
if you think the Lakers are making to the playoffs, you are 10 years in the past. I think this team has no chance, but that's not the goal for this team, is to sort of toe the line until they've got some salary cap flexibility, they've got some young picks coming up. They can bring in another guy to play with Kobe in the twilight, and that's when they're going to go for that 6th ring for Mr. Bean. This year, no playoffs, 50-point games from Kobe though. It's going to be fun to watch. It's also, it is what it is.
I think we need to remember Jeannie and Jim Buss, they know what they're doing. They've got a master plan. I'm confident of that, just like Larry Bird does. Down the track, the Lakers, they're the Lakers. They're going to be back. They're not going to be back this year.
Yeah, that's it. I think I've had a lot of fun making fun of the Lakers fans that thought they were going to sign everyone this season when it's obviously they weren't.
LeBron James, Carmelo Anthony, Kevin Durant, who's firmly in a contract.
They were going to bring back Michael Jordan in his prime. I think Charles Barkley had a contract offer, Bill Russell.
Michael Jordan was coming out of
Wilt
retirement.
Chamberlain was coaching, but anyway. This team is the Lakers. It's in LA. They are going to be good again soon. It's just that's not going to be this year. It's pretty safe to say.
I think that's a safe bet.
Anyway, we've got to get out of here. You've got to get back on a flight, head over, got dinner with Kobe, then golf with Adam Silver afterwards.
Exactly. Yeah, I got to keep him happy.
It's a busy day.
Clean, actually.
Busy day. Yeah. Meanwhile, I've got to go to work. Thanks for joining us. I'm Matt Sampson. This is Globetrotting James Hetherington. Thanks to Sporties at the Arkabar. Thanks to Believe the Hype. Check out all the info in the credits and the link below. We'll see you on the next one.
Cheers.